Propublica recently got its hands on training videos by Project2025, and one of the excerpts is about trans people, or more likely how they're talking about it is the gender cult. I'll play it in a second for you, but understand that they're talking about how they can use the fact that they don't want to use inclusive language in order to dismiss trans people and trans identity. So let's quickly watch it and then come back with me.
The word gender is no longer a polite way to refer to biological sex, male or female. The word now is completely toxic. It's no longer being used to mean male or female, but now how people identify, which is where we get this idea of gender identity. Katie, did you know that there are between 72 and 1,000 different kinds of gender? We should never use the word gender as conservatives. It's not specific and it's nonsensical. Instead, use the word sex or biological sex or male and female. And I don't care where you are in the administration, you will deal with the word gender. Speaking of sex, the next phrase that we're going to talk about is sex assigned at birth. Now, I just told you to use the word sex, and you may think that sex assigned at birth, that sounds great. Well, actually it's not. It's the left's attempt to change biological fact and to try to normalize their belief that biological sex can change. Unfortunately, many folks, including solid conservatives, have accepted this and don't understand the danger in using this term. In fact, some conservatives have even taken this term and changed it slightly, gender as revealed at birth. The left is infiltrating our conservative organizations, Christian schools, and even churches. We must always be on guard. And when a new term is introduced, ask, what is the genesis for this new term, and why was it introduced? If you see the term sex assigned at birth, delete it and replace it with biological sex. The next issue under gender is pronouns. Don't fall into the progressive left's trap in regard to pronouns. Don't use them in email signature blocks, on LinkedIn, and absolutely do not ask people what their pronouns are on your first day on the job. When I was at USAID, managers were giving training and were told that when they have new staff or have a staff meeting, they should go around the room and ask everyone what their pronouns are.
These are people who would have been in the Trump administration. This would have been given to anyone they're trying to get into the Trump administration. This is to train these people to make sure that they don't use inclusive language, to make sure that they use othering language when it comes to trans people. So when you see people refuse to use proper language, like the word cis that's been used for decades and millennia because it is a Latin prefix, it is a way to make sure that when we talk about trans issues or trans people, that it is othering, that we are not talking about people on the same footing. Which is why using the proper language is so important. When you see these types of video that are training people not to use that language, you can see how they're attempting to dehumanize an entire group of people. So make sure you're not doing like the people in Project 2025, and make sure you vote to make sure that these people don't get into power.